Trump warned you 7 years ago. I'm going to show you that video once again. The biggest issue is everybody's chasing the dragon. They're chasing dates, price predictions. They're building and making financial decisions off faceless people on the internet that are dropping clues when you should be building a financial ecosystem. You should be feeding that financial ecosystem. You should be studying inflationary, deflationary, and your job, your number one job, is to beat inflation every single year. And there's multiple ways you can do that. One of the ways is cryptocurrency. Think about that for just a moment. If every single dollar in the system is debt, as Trump became president, once again, we're at 120% debt to income ratio. We have more debt than we have income. And they're about to lower interest rates probably this Wednesday. And they're going to print more money than in history. And I'm going to show you in this video how they're quietly, not quietly anymore, they're loudly positioning themselves in deflationary assets. But the issue is everybody's chasing the dragon. It's going to be this date, or the Riddlers are putting out this date. And I'll tell you what, since 2020, going into 2021, I stopped chasing the dragon. I built an ecosystem of cash flow, investing in deflationary assets, protecting my wealth, and learning leverage responsibly to beat the hurdle rate, to help my family become secure, and being present. Because I'll tell you what, you're being distracted. And as they tell you to look this way, there's a whole nother system being built this way. So I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic in the back end of every video. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to share with you my portfolio. I'm going to share with you my top 6. I'm going to share with you the new things I'm investing in, and the what, the how, and the why. I'm not saying you have to do this, but what I've done is change my family's financial outlook and future for the next 100 years. All right. So I'm going to bring back to this video that I've showed you over and over and over again, because 7 years ago, Trump told you, I'm going to let him tell you, but he said we're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before we know it. And now I'm going to show you the facts, figures, numbers, logic of what is actually happening. So listen to this video, and then we're going to show you all the things happening behind the scenes.
As far as the currency devaluations, I've been complaining about that for a long time. And I believe that we will all eventually, and probably very much sooner than a lot of people understand or think, we will be all at a level playing field, because that's the only way it's fair. That's the only way that you can fairly compete in trade and other things. And we will be on that field, and we will all be working very hard to do great for our country. But it has to be fair, and we will make it fair. I think.
Okay. So he said we'll be on an even playing field. His first thing he said, write this down, I'm concerned about the currency devaluation. So this is how I make my investments, not off riddlers, not off faceless people dropping clues. I do it based on facts, figures, numbers, logic. People like Ray Dalio, who studied the last 500 years, the rise and fall of empires. Everything is just a wave of energy, guys. Take a deep breath. He said, I'm concerned about currency devaluation. So am I. The US dollar's collapsed 96 to 97% since the Federal Reserve was created. Okay, so we know that, right? So your dollar is worth less. It's worthless. Okay, so we know that. So you're storing cash, which is trash. So we know that. So we'll write that down. He said we're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before we know it. Okay. Then I showed you guys this video right here. I'll play the video, but it's in Russian, but I'll read the first line here, right? I showed you guys this video where Russia confirmed exactly what I've been telling you guys. Exactly what I've been telling you. It says the US is now trying to rewrite the rules of the gold and cryptocurrency market.
Прямо сейчас пытается поменять правила на рынке золота и криптовалют. Вспомните, какой у них
Remember the size of their debt, 35 trillion.
долг, 35 триллионов долларов. В общем-то, это
These two sectors, crypto and gold, are essentially alternatives to the traditional global currency system. Okay, so Russia is even confirming what I've been saying. that as we look this way, there's a whole nother narrative going on this way. Then boom, okay, we saw that Bo Hines stepped down. Everybody's like, what's going on? He was the digital advocate, right? Bo Hines steps down. He goes to Tether. And then all of a sudden they make an announcement that Tether created USAT, a US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin with Bo Hines named as the CEO of Tether. So you got Bo Hines steps down, goes to Tether, brings it into America. Now, the Russia guy talked about, think about this. What do stable coins use? US treasuries. What's destroyed in America? The bond market. Okay. What do they do with bonds? They sell, they give us, they ask us to give them money. We loan the government money. That's a bond. And they give us interest on that. So we fund the government. Since 1913, we stopped doing tariffs on other countries. They created the Federal Reserves, not Federal nor Reserve. They started taxing us like crazy, okay, not other countries. They deflated our dollar by 96 to 97%, and now Trump is bringing back that old era, okay? He is now tariffing other countries. They're creating an even playing field, and they're dismantling the central bank, okay? So next, so we know that Bo Hines stepped down. He went to Tether, and then all of a sudden, this stuff wasn't decided yesterday, guys. This wasn't just decided last week that all of a sudden they're going to bring Tether into the US. Okay. Remember, Tether is a stable coin. They use US treasuries. This is important. Okay. Now, this is where the plot thickens. I've been showing you guys this game. This is how I make my decisions. Tether's longtime partner, write this down, Cantor Fitzgerald, will serve as the custodian to hold the new stablecoin reserves. Remember who Cantor is? If you guys have been following my channel, that's Howard Lutnick. Howard Lutnick is our commerce secretary. He's the right-hand man to Trump. Everywhere he's traveling, Howard Lutnick and Trump are right next to each other. Also, Steve Witkoff. Wait a minute, Steve Witkoff. That sounds familiar. Don't worry. I'll show you the connection there. Steve Witkoff, Howard Lutnick are always hanging out with Trump. Bo Hines was connected to Trump. He steps down. He goes to Tether. He brings Tether into the U.S. Cantor, Howard Lutnick's company, is the custodian for the U.S. The U.S. Tether. Okay, Tether's decision to launch U.S. stablecoin reflects the changing fortunes of the stablecoin giant, which counts Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick as one of its top advocates. At Friday's event, the company announced that former top White House crypto official Bo Hines would serve as the CEO. So are we going to sit here and just listen to faceless people and riddlers or stuff, or we're going to start to look at what's actually happening here, guys? This is all planned out. We're going to be on an even playing field monetarily 7 years ago. Now we're sitting here. Trump creates this cabinet. Howard Lutnick, Cantor, he steps down, puts his son, Brandon Lutnick, in place. Okay. Trump is making the rules for cryptocurrency. Okay. His sons run the trust on this side. The Trump family now, Trump Media, is the top 8 holder in Bitcoin treasury. Okay, we're going to go deeper. So you got the connections now. Bo Hines steps down, goes to Tether, brings it is. Cantor Fitzgerald, which is Howard Lutnick's company that was passed down to Brandon Lutnick, is now the custodian for the US-based Tether company that Bo Hines is now the CEO of. Okay. Cantor Fitzgerald announces next generation of ownership. This is just to show you guys who Cantor is. Howard Lutnick, United States Secretary of Commerce, and the company's former chairman and chief executive officer, has agreed to transfer his ownership to the next generation, his son, Brandon Lutnick. Okay. So families you need to study is the Lutnick family, Bo Hines, the Witkoff family. Okay. This is a type of research I do. So now let's get the players in the game. We got Bo Hines steps down, Tether, boom, Tether comes in. All of a sudden, Bo Hines is announced as the CEO of the new Tether arm. Okay, these decisions weren't made last week, guys. This is all planned out. Cantor, Howard Lutnick's company, which is a crypto company, is the custodian for Tether that Bo Hines runs now, who's connected to Trump. Okay, all right. So now we have World Liberty Financial. This is what Russia was talking about. Okay, this is World Liberty Financial stablecoin USD1 now available on Coinbase. Okay, beginning today, countless users will have access to USD1. This is not today. This is a couple while ago. The fastest growing stablecoin in history, continuing our mission of accelerating the worldwide adoption of digital assets. So here's what's happening, guys. Okay, here's what's happening. Okay, let me bring you on my screen real quick. Okay, so he said we're going to be on an even playing field monetarily. What Trump has done is he's created a system that's going to do two things. Okay, number one, they created a Bitcoin strategic reserve. By having an asset like Bitcoin, remember I told you to study inflation, okay? Then you need to study deflationary assets, fixed supply assets. So they put Bitcoin on the balance sheet with a strategic reserve. Bitcoin grows about 50% every single year. So they created a sovereign wealth fund, and they're going to create a strategic reserve with a bag of currencies. So you have these currencies on this side, and then I'll share with you how it happened to me on a personal level. You have these currencies on this side that have fixed supplies that are opposite of the inflationary US dollar, where you become poor every single year. Okay, remember your dollar has collapsed like this, crypto and Bitcoin has gone up like this. Okay, see what I'm saying? Look at the long-term Bitcoin, it's opposite. Okay, so what's happening is you're in an inflationary asset that's going to continue to devalue. It's not backed by anything. And the elites are moving over to this deflationary fixed supply asset. Okay, so what Trump did is created a Bitcoin strategic reserve, ran as the Bitcoin capital of the world. Then he created a stablecoin act called they created the stablecoin act called the Genius Act. We have the Clarity Act. By November, we should have full clarity for banks to custody crypto. So then Trump, who's connected to World Liberty Financial, Barron Trump, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, and the Witkoff family, Steve Witkoff. I think it's Eric Witkoff, and I can't remember the other son's name. You'll see Eric Witkoff and the other boys hanging out with the Trump boys, and Steve Witkoff hanging out with Trump. So you have Steve Witkoff, Trump, and Howard Lutnick. Okay. World Liberty Financial created World Liberty Financial Token, which is a decentralized bank. We're going to be on an even playing field monetarily before you know it. It will be fair. It will be equitable. Okay. Then today, the Christine Lagarde from the ECBU, am I saying that correctly? European Union. They're looking at a digital euro. She says they want to launch a CBDC. So now the battle is going to be between a centralized system and a decentralized system. Okay. So America is going to be operating in a decentralized system, public and private sector coming together, competition, which is very, very healthy. He's going to create a sovereign wealth fund. He has our Bitcoin strategic reserve. He's going to lower taxes, and he's going to start tariffing other countries. We're going to go back to more of a before 1913 model, and he's going to work to dismantle the central bank. That's how I make my financial decisions. I'm not making it off hype. I'm building an ecosystem. So here's my ecosystem. I focus on 4 things. This is my biggest thing is I'm non-emotional. I have my cryptos that I invested. Nobody will flood me in or flood me out because this is how I make my decisions. I'm not saying you have to do this, but I'm sharing with you how it's changed my life. Okay. Remember, they're moving into deflationary assets. So what happened to me from 2020 to 2025 is I stored my US dollar in Bitcoin and XRP. My Bitcoin went up 200% and my XRP went up 800%. So would you rather be in a US dollar that inflates, right? It's not that things are getting more expensive, it's your dollar's becoming less valuable. So I focus on 4 components. I'm not just all in crypto. I'll break it down. Cash flow. I create cash generating businesses, cash generating dividends. Okay. I love dividend stocks. I love putting money into dividend stocks. You got synthetic option calls, which pay you a high amount, high risk, we de-risk. You got medium risk stocks or dividend stocks you can get into. You got low risk, like the Warren Buffett, Coca-Cola, stuff like that, right? Dividends, cash flow, cash flow, cash flow. So I have my own cash generating businesses, and I also invest in dividends to allow other businesses to pay me dividends. So when I create cash flow, what do? I take my cash flow, which I believe is trash, and I transmute it into deflationary assets that have fixed supplies. I love Bitcoin and XRP. Okay. That's what I love. My number 1 holding is Bitcoin. My number 2 is XRP. Number 3 is Solana. Number 4 is XLM. Number 5 is HBAR. Number 6 is VeChain. And I'm now dollar cost averaging into World Liberty Financial. Okay. That's actually going to probably climb up in my top 4. Okay. So my biggest holdings by 2029 will be XRP, Bitcoin, Solana, World Liberty Financial, and most likely HBAR and XLM will bounce back and forth. Okay. I'm not trying to catch a bunch of pump and dumps. I'm not chasing the dragon. I'm getting very concentrated. Okay. So we have the cash flow, deflationary assets. Okay. Then we go into bull markets, or we go into like the back end of this year. Okay. There's no emotion in this. Okay. These go up and I exit. People are like, oh, I take Bitcoin. We're never selling. We're going to put it in the leverage category. Okay. I do exit 50% of my altcoins. People are like, don't ever sell. I think that's ridiculous. Why would you not sell profits? Why would you not? We're in it so you take profits, you move it into cash generating dividends, businesses, insurance, you build a diverse portfolio. The elites aren't just watching this go up and go down, watch it go up and go down. Yes, you can borrow against your assets, but when you have a liquidity event, it's about building your ecosystem. Okay. Now, if this is your first bull run, you may hold all the way till the next one. Okay. Number one thing you should do is be paying off your personal debt. You should get out of debt as quick as possible. Okay. Anyways, so we got cash flow, we got deflationary assets. Then I pump money into my cash value life insurance premiums every month. When this goes parabolic, I take some off the table. First thing I do is I max fund policies. Why do I do that? Because then we have this over here. We have leverage. So we have a Bitcoin bank and then we have an insurance bank. So now as we go into 2026, as everybody watches their crypto go up and go down, I'll not only have, by pulling profits here, I'm going to buy more cash generating. I give myself a huge pay raise. I'll have more cash generating dividends. Okay, I'll have more cash flow coming in. Hey, when the bear market hits, I'm going to go back into deflationary assets. I now have max funded my policy. And over here, I can turn $1 into $3. So I can borrow against my assets. On my digital asset side, I only go 25% leverage. I never go above that because they're volatile. On my insurance side, I can go 100% leverage against the insurance company at around 5%. Then I just beat the hurdle rate. So if I borrow at 5% and I'm making 20% on a dividend, think about that. I'm beating the hurdle rate by 15%. It pays it off. And then all of a sudden by 2029, I have all these cash generating dividends, businesses, and I just keep repeating the cycle. My point behind this is I don't chase the dragon. I'm not chasing price predictions. I'm not chasing hype. I'm not chasing riddlers. Okay. They say billionaires use astrology, millionaires use charts. Yes, that's true. They do. That is true. But I'm not waiting for something to happen. I build a system and I allow the markets to come to me. And I respond based on my system, not based on emotion. That's the biggest thing that I know for a fact that people are missing. Okay, so you're like, well, how do you exit? So I use Merlin, the smartest way to track here, but this is my company that we created. I'm the co-founder and creator. 38,000 lines of codes that we built this, okay, from the ground up. This is an interface. Let me show you. Okay, so you got all your assets in one place. This is our demo account. Imagine having all your assets in one place. We don't hold your keys or crypto. So this is an interface. So you can see everything at once. So your crypto is safe, right? You're not pointed up on foreign Wi-Fi's. When I travel, I only use Merlin because nobody can hack Merlin. It's impossible. It's just an interface. Got all your exchanges in one place. Got all your transactions. You got the markets at a snapshot. We look, Bitcoin's a little bit in the red right now, 114, ETH at 4,000, XRP's at $3. And then boom, you can hook up all these exchanges there to see your crypto. And then we teach you how to do profit taking. Okay. So if you're like, oh, I'm still stuck, we have the greatest customer service in human history. So we can teach you how to build a profit plan. Down below, you can get 30 days for free. Try it before you buy it in my social media platform. Click the link. Okay. So I hope that helps by sharing with you exactly what my portfolio, exactly what my ecosystem is. And I'm not trying to convince you that's what you need to do. What I'm trying to get people to do is to stop getting played. Stop being distracted. Okay. All of a sudden, these Epstein files, and then boom, there's all these major, just like we're all looking over here, and the whole system has changed. It's the same thing over and over and over again. What did they do in the Roman days, guys? They got you drunk in the Colosseum, and the Trojan horse came in. Please, please study Ray Dalio's work. Changing World Order. Like, you got to study this at a deep level. You'll understand that this is all the same thing. It's nothing new under the sun, guys. For me, I built a financial ecosystem, a spiritual ecosystem, and a physical ecosystem. For my financial ecosystem, I gave it to you. Cash flow, deflationary assets, protection, insurance, and leverage. And I just feed it. No emotion. This goes up. Cool. I calmly exit. No big deal. Okay. Spiritually, I focus on the Bible, Jesus Christ. I pray every single day. And I think 2 or more are gathered, you're in church. I don't prescribe to a religion or a church. I love God every single day, and I teach my kids to love God. Okay. I work on my spiritual walk. I go to Peru twice a year. I do all these things spiritually to align with my spiritual walk. Physically, I do fasting. I have a trainer. I have a trainer. We do protection, like self-defense, right? I do everything I can to protect my family spiritually, mentally, physically, and financially. It's God, family, protect my ecosystem at all costs, and stay out of the other men and women's business. I'm too busy working on mine. And it's easy to stay out of other people's business because I have an ecosystem. All I have to do is fill it. And that's how the system works, is if you're living outside of yourself and you're chasing the dragon, it's like a drug. You should be pulling the markets to you. Warren Buffett isn't like, oh my God, there's a conspiracy going on and this date, this is going to happen. No, he doesn't care if the market's shut down. He's investing in companies, long-term fundamental. They're creating cash flow. They take the cash flow. They buy other dividend businesses. If they take a risk, they take a risk with cash flow. And they reinvest back into dividends that will always be here. And then they relax and they spend time with their family. They spend time in nature. And they're present in the gift, which is always here. So I love you guys. I appreciate you. As we always say, Warriors, let's get your shit together. Love you guys.